Hi, so I'm here with Rachel Theriot, who is currently in Bulgaria, right?
Yes.
How's the weather like in Bulgaria right now? Is it as
Oh,
gloomy as it is here?
it is actually. It's super rainy today. Not a lot of sun. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
very much so.
So I want to start with something rather light. Your signature braids. Is the fresh braids before every game ritual still alive?
For the most part, yes, but I no longer do two. I only do one. So
Okay. And
uh, I just happened. I think after college, I just went to one, and it was just easier.
Okay,
So
yeah. And
uh,
and who does those braids? Do you have like special people who
typically, I have my teammates. One of my teammates can braid, and I ask them to do it. But within the last maybe 3 years or so, I've tried to learn myself to do it. So I'm getting better, but it's not perfect.
okay. And do you go to professionals as well, like Eastern European hairdressers or
No,
hairstylists?
if
No,
if I
okay.
if I braid it, it's either I braid it or a teammate braids it, and then that's it.
Okay, okay. So this is your eighth year as a pro, if my math is correct, right? I hope so.
Yeah,
Or
I think so. It
ninth,
might be nine,
eighth.
honestly.
Okay,
I think it's nine.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So is the pro life everything you envisioned when you picked up the basketball for the first time?
Um, it's a bit backwards in a sense, coming from college, but um, honestly, it's you get paid to play, that's what you want to do, and you that's like living out your dream. And I think that's the best part of it is still being able to play and travel the world and see new things, meet new people and cultures.
And can you still say that you are living out the dream?
Yeah, for sure. Of course. I still get
Okay,
to play. I'm playing basketball, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it still, obviously. That's why I still do it. That's the main reason why I do it. If I didn't
okay,
enjoy it, I would obviously stop playing. But
okay. And that dream started in Middleburg Heights, Ohio, right?
yes, correct.
Okay, okay.
hmm Yeah.
And how did it start? How did you start playing basketball?
I
Why?
had I have three older brothers, just kind of grew up around it. Parents played basketball growing up too. Nothing like super serious, just up until high school. And then my brothers played as well. And then just through that, I was naturally in the gym and just picked up a basketball at a super young age. And I played with my brother, the one that was closest to me in age. Um, I played with him when I was younger. So that's how I really started. And then obviously just build off of that.
Okay. And were your brothers or your brother that you played with the most influential in your career, like
Oh,
later
for
on in
sure.
later stages?
Yeah, I mean, we both did the same path. We both went to college. We both played basketball. He did go overseas for maybe 2 years or so, and then he went a different direction. He wanted to go back, get his master's and schooling and all that done. And yeah, but he's always obviously been a big influence just because we play the same sport, but I see him playing. I watched him play in high school, and then he went to college first, so I was able to do and watch all those things too. And it's nice when you have like a workout partner too. He goes to work out, you go to the gym with him, and it's like a built-in accountability, and you both want to see each other do well and they succeed playing basketball. So it was
Okay.
nice.
Okay. And was he also helpful in the sense that he was giving out advice in what, like he was watching your games and
Yeah,
he,
he watches and he follow along. I mean, he still does to this day, which is super nice. He is. We play two different positions. He's more built like a five player, and I play point guard per se or shooting guard now, and so the questions and the back and forth that we go back and forth with each other with is more like taunting, like sibling taunting at this point. But he's always been supportive, and it's been super nice to have someone else that's close to you who understands exactly what you're going through too. I mean,
yeah,
he's had the same experiences going overseas too, and so it's nice when someone
yeah,
can relate to you.
cool, cool. And you went originally to Walsh Jesuit, right? High
Yes.
school. which was
Mhm.
closer to Akron than Cleveland, I think, if
Yes,
my geography of Ohio is correct.
correct. I
Okay.
lived in Cleveland, and then Akron was like more like 40, 45 minutes away. So a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit
yeah.
farther of a drive.
And why did you decide to go to Akron instead of Cleveland?
Uh, at that point, my brother also went to a like private school when he first started high school, and it was just one of those things that I felt like I had a better opportunity playing basketball there. It was just more not advantage, but just it was a better opportunity. And for when you go to like a private school per se, sometimes the athletics are more of a focus compared to like when you just go to a public school. So for me, I went to Walsh, but I only went to Walsh for 2 years, and
Yeah,
then I
then
went back.
you, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it
Uh,
was it was super hard though. You know, when you go to private school, you got to pay to go. My family didn't have like all that money to actually like send me there in a sense. And then on top of that, just getting there, like I said, it was 45 minutes from Cleveland, which is kind of where I lived, and it was a long drive in the mornings, and then you know you go practice in the evening. Then my parents had to come pick me up, so at this point I couldn't drive yet either. So it was just super hard in general, you know. And a lot of the kids I went to school with lived closer to Akron than I did, so it was just super hard just to be like more involved and like around people, and because of the drive and the distance and stuff. So
yeah.
that
And
was my experience there.
yeah, and were you also afraid that the move back closer to home would impact your chances at recruitment?
uh I would say no, honestly. I think at that point, I think a lot of the recruitment for us at that point was through AAU, and going playing wherever in high school really didn't matter as much. I think playing AAU was more of a bigger factor. So me going back to my home school, it was probably one of my greatest decisions. I got to play basketball with kids that I grew up with, and it was a lot of fun. I was obviously way closer to home, which was super nice. Just comfort.
Okay, so the people at Nebraska actually noticed you at an AAU tournament, right? How did the
Yes.
recruitment go? Okay.
Yeah, basically it started when I don't know what grade I was in, but it was super early. Maybe my freshman year or something like that. They had reached out to me, but it was mainly through AAU. But one of the reasons why I did choose Nebraska in the end was because they um they had started to recruit me from the beginning, like from the very beginning, and they were one of the ones that stuck out most, and just constantly were around checking in, and you know, doing all good things that I was wanting. And uh, yeah, that was one of the main reasons why I really was so interested in Nebraska, is because they were there since day one.
Okay, and how much involvement did Coach Jory have at the time when it came to recruitment?
um well, I had actually talked to one of the assistant coaches, Coach Jay, at the time, and she was the main person I talked to. I talked to Connie once in a while, but mainly it was Coach Jay. Obviously, I got to talk more to Connie when I went on campus and I was actually there. So it was here and there.
Okay, because if I remember correctly, you were when you graduated from college, Coach Jory also quit, right? I think she
Yeah, there
retired
was
the same year
yes.
probably.
Hmm.
So, how was she like in her later stages of coaching?
I think the best way to say it is there was a lot going on in life, and but basketball wise, she was great with X's and O's and everything that was going on with that. You couldn't really complain too much basketball wise, but she just, you know, there was things going on in life that took her away from basketball a little bit more. And, you know, you could start to see a little bit more of a distance and stuff. But I mean, I have nothing but good things to say, honestly. She was good to me. She was good for my career. I learned a lot from her. And yeah.
So it was like the regular case when it comes to, I guess, college coaches that once they get older, they utilize their assistants more than they actually, they're just there, like for name recognition, maybe kind of, but assistants do more of the work and just
Of
the
course,
everyday
but
stuff with the players, right?
yeah, but I think in college, like compared to overseas, like right now,
Mm-hmm.
like we just have a head coach and then we just have like one assistant. But in college, you have the head coach and these are like three assistants. Nowadays, there's probably more people involved. I don't know how that works now, but they're just an extension of the coach, honestly. I think she was still in charge and she was, doing everything. But obviously, you have to lean on the other ones because you can't do all the work, especially in college. It's a lot of demand and a lot of long hours and stuff. So you have to be able to have a supportive cast around you to make it work.
Yeah, yeah, understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what was your most memorable game in college? And why was it the game against Minnesota on March 7, 2014? And the 18 assists you gave out? No, but
Um,
seriously, what was the most? Probably
honestly,
that
probably
was one of those, right?
yeah. Most memorable was probably when we won the tournament. Um, I think it was just overall like team effort. And I think even from the years prior, we had been so close sometimes and we were good, but just could never pull away with something like a big win like that. And Hooper was our senior that year, and it was super nice to give her something like that. Just because, she's worked so hard. She's one of the greatest to play in Nebraska. And to be able to play next to her obviously is fortunate enough, but to be able to win two next to her was really, really, really nice. So I would
Yeah.
say that one.
Okay. And you said that it was a team effort, but only one player can get the MVP award. And who was the MVP of that Big Ten tournament?
I think
Uh,
I was.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
So
I can't get there
what got
without my
into
team.
you? What got into you during those three games?
Um, it's just feeling the game out. I can't be anything without my teammates and the coaches. So I mean, as much as someone wants to take credit for it, I'm not going to. It's never been me, and I think a lot of it just plays into the coaches and your teammates around you trusting you and believing you, and just letting the game feel its way in. So
Okay,
yeah, that's
okay.
probably the biggest thing.
And during your, it's nice that you actually stress the importance of teammates because one thing you were known for maybe were your assists. Like in 2 seasons, you averaged 7+ assists per game. That's like crazy, right? So what's more
Yeah.
exciting for you, making a big assist or making a big three?
Oh,
If I would
nowadays,
ask you, yeah, if I would ask you
yeah,
10 years ago, and if I
10 years
would
ago,
ask you,
easy answer. I don't even have to think about it. It's the assist
yeah,
for
and
sure.
now,
Now, I don't know. I became more of a shooter these days, so I shoot threes as a living now. I think more so than anything, and I think I still go with an assist. I love sharing the ball, and there's nothing better than making a great pass, and someone else is benefiting from it too. So
yeah.
I'd still say an assist.
Okay. And during your 4 years at Nebraska, if you were to, well, not during them, but uh, we're now, Jesus, my English, sorry. Uh, it's 10 years later, right? You can evaluate your time at Nebraska now. So are you happy with what you achieved with that team and personally?
Of course, I did what I could with my time there, and especially with my body. I ran into a lot of injuries there. I was like, those are things that you can't control, and they're part of the game too, unfortunately. But my time there, I took what I could and took the most time out of it, even from freshman year all the way to my senior year. You learn a lot about yourself, you learn a lot about your body, about how you want to play, what you want to do afterwards, and it all plays a part in who you are and a lot of not only learning basketball related things, but things off the court. And I think Nebraska was a great place to go. Honestly, I love the people there. Um, It's been nothing but good. And I've got nothing bad to say about Nebraska. Only that's like in the middle of nowhere. It's not a lot to do. But other than that,
That's why you can
yeah.
focus on basketball, probably, right?
Yeah, of course, it was fun. You felt supported, and yeah, it was a good time.
Okay. And I think that all 4 seasons that you were there, you didn't like you didn't have a losing season, right?
Correct.
But you never won the big one. You won the tournament, but not the big one, right?
Yeah, the farthest we ever went was the Sweet 16. That was my freshman year. We lost to Duke. But yeah, that was the farthest we went. And then I after that we won the Big Ten title. That's a tournament, and then we fell short in the tournament again. We should have went another step, but lost. And then the next 2 years, I think I was injured, so my season got cut early again. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
you still made up for it. I mean, personally, right? In
Oh,
Belarus.
for sure.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mean, free
It's
free
always nice when you can
championships, right?
championship. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
this year, right, you're the reigning champion. Even though you're in Bulgaria, you're still the reigning champion
Yes,
of
for
Belarus.
sure. Yeah.
Can you take me through maybe how you ended up in Belarus?
After college, you sign with an agent, and my agent just reached out to me about an opportunity there. And I think most people would say I've never heard of that. I don't know where it's at least back then. Maybe now it's a little different, but I actually had a teammate in college who was from Belarus. It was a small world, and my agent said, "Hey, we're thinking about Belarus. What do you think?" Like, I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I know where that's at. I had a teammate there." And obviously, you still have no idea what to expect. My only time going overseas in general was we went to Australia in college, so to go somewhere I had no idea again was super hard, especially by yourself. Um, so it was a lot of learning, a lot of growing. Um, oh, that first year overseas is always the hardest, I would say, because you don't know what to expect and what you're walking yourself into.
Oh yeah, yeah. And can you take me through your like first journey to Belarus? Like you get off the plane.
Yeah, so I mean, you're traveling long hours,
Yeah. Did you have a
obviously.
direct flight or Germany, USA,
Yeah, so I'm
Germany, and
not
then
exactly sure where
Belarus?
I want to say I had my flight from, let's say, Cleveland to like DC or something like that, and then DC to, I want to say I went to somewhere in Ukraine, and then Ukraine to
Okay.
Belarus. So,
Okay.
but that first plane run, I also think was the worst because I was when you're on the bigger flights, you have like the big section, and there's usually has the TVs in the back of the seats. This one didn't have them. It just had one big TV for the section, and I couldn't believe my eyes. And I had to wait, like 9, 10 hours on a flight, and it's so long. That was my second time doing it, but it's much different by yourself. And then you get there and you get to another country, and everything's not in English anymore. You see it sometimes, but it's not the main thing that you're seeing. So it's a little scary. And then there's a guy just standing there, with a sign, Rachel Theriot, smoking Minsk, and that's it. And hi, nice to meet you. And you just go with him, and you're off. You're on your own, and you're finally with someone that you are, not familiar with, but they're going to be helpful to you.
Okay. And what were your impressions of the facilities? Because you come from Nebraska, which is like top shelf, right? And
Right.
you end up in Belarus in Minsk, where people are enthusiastic about the sport, but they don't have the resources, right? I'm
Right.
Polish. I know about Polish league, so we were like
Yeah,
neighbors to Belarus, so I know what it's like. Like,
for sure. I said at the beginning, it's like a little backwards, like you
yeah,
could think you're becoming a professional athlete and you're getting paid to play that. It's the same thing in the States in the WNBA. You want things to be like a certain way because that's how they were in college. And then you get there and you have to almost like start from the ground up again, And facilities were fine. They had everything at the gym for the most part, like your recovery stuff. They had obviously the courts, they had like swimming pools, they had everything in the main area, which was super nice. So I really didn't have many complaints about that. but it is very different to say the least. It's not like state of the art equipment. It's not this, and that you would see in college for sure. So
Okay.
I feel like they just like
And
scratch the surface.
and you've actually spent 6 years in Belarus, right? Returned there twice after stints
Yes.
in Germany and then Lithuania. And
Hmm.
why did you find Belarus and Minsk in particular, the capital city of Belarus, like such a good place to live in, or maybe a good place to play basketball in?
Yeah,
Maybe both.
it was a good fit for me in general. My first year I did really well. I re-signed there. And their goal at this point was to go into Euro Cup. And you want to play in Euro Cup when you go overseas. So for me, it was okay, I'll stay. I'll help like continue like building it. And then what ended up happening, I ended up having surgery after that season. Or I got halfway through, I had surgery. So I had to go home halfway through my second season. And I went back because they were in Euro Cup after that. So the third season I went back, Euro Cup, they played Euro Cup again. And then that's when I left after that. So you know, they were honestly nothing but good to me. I have great things to say about them. Obviously, it was I think every year, you go somewhere you're like, I don't want to come back. I'm not coming back here. And every year I came back, and it was like a running joke, still a running joke. After even the last year, I laughed. They're like, "Are you coming back?" And they're like laughing. I'm like, I don't know, guys. I'm not gonna say no because like I've been back now 4 or 5 times. So I think I think it was just a place of comfort, especially once I left. Then there was COVID and all the stuff going on. I left early a lot of the times, but they again always took care of me, made sure everything was right. And I knew that if, especially after I've had surgery and stuff, that it was a good place to go back to start playing again. It was familiar, and I love the city of Minsk. Honestly, it's fun for me. It's better than some other places I've been when you go, and uh, I don't mind the food. There's just things to do, and I think the city's beautiful. And once you learn and you venture and you get out, you start realizing places aren't as bad as they typically are at first. So that always helps. And when you have more time there, it gets easier.
And do you have your special places there as well, like your favorite cafe or
Oh,
restaurant?
for sure. Yeah, just like if I would go back now, I'd have like three places I want to go to, that you definitely want to hit before you leave. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. And apart from being the champion in Belarus, you're also a Lithuanian league champion,
Yes.
right? In
Yeah.
2023. How did
Hmm.
it feel to win in a country different than Belarus? And maybe you can like talk us through how it looks like to win as a pro in countries which are not considered like top level basketball countries, like say
Right.
France or Italy.
Uh-huh. I think sometimes like the teams that I was on, it's almost like you're expected to win. So there is a little bit of pressure to it, just that they assume that that's going to happen. But sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do. You play these teams all year round and you play multiple times, and games get harder each time you play them. So I think when you win, regardless where you are, it's always a major accomplishment to get to the end of the season and to have that feeling and that win at the end. Um, but it is something you can't really take for granted because not everyone's as fortunate to do that as often, and it's something that I think you cherish and you remember when you think about playing overseas, and if you've accomplished things like that. I think it's important, and it also helps
And yeah.
bring not the country but the teams together and stuff like that.
And as an American, right? You're
Yeah.
usually American players are brought in to contribute and to like be focal points of teams. So did you feel the pressure to contribute? And when you didn't win a championship, did you feel like in Belarus, for example, that the team wasn't as happy with your performance, or the staff wasn't
Um,
as happy? Maybe the fans.
of course, I think no matter if you win or lose, I think you have that feeling of disappointment in a sense, especially when you get so close and you can't get it. But I think more than anything, um, being an American, a foreigner playing, you are expected to do a lot more than others. And I wouldn't say it's so much like pressure. It's just you playing basketball and you know how to play basketball, and what they're demanding of you isn't far off either. It's just what you have to come and do day in, day out. And I don't think anyone's ever been really disappointed per se in a performance. It's just again, basketball is a team sport. You can't blame one person, even if that was the case. But I want to say, even in Belarus in the championships, I was never there the years that we didn't win, though. I ended up leaving.
Okay.
I
Okay.
left the 2 years. So, like, that's probably why
Okay.
we didn't end up winning.
Yeah,
But
well, obviously, right?
yeah, so the years I wasn't there, like, of course, like, I understand why we didn't, because the foreigners ended up leaving at some point, anyways. So,
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting because the rotation of foreigners, that's the reason why the rotation of foreigners is so big in
yeah.
Europe, right? Because you're expected to contribute immediately, and some players get like a month and then they're
Hmm.
gone. And another
For sure.
American player is brought in. So it must be
Yes.
really tough mentally on
It is
American
a
players.
high demand, but again, but you have to believe in yourself and what you do. You know, you put in all these hours in the summers probably more than anything, and it's what you have to showcase when you come and play. They sign you for a reason, and you should be able to go out there and do those things. Obviously, it's unfortunate when those situations do come across, though, but it does happen, and it's part of basketball and the business of it, honestly.
Yeah. And just to conclude, and what are your expectations for this season in Bulgaria?
Um, Honestly, for me personally, I just want to have fun. I want to feel like I'm giving basketball all I still can. You know, you're getting to the point in your career where you don't know how much longer sometimes, and you really just want to feel like that kid feeling again on why you play basketball. And I think that's the biggest thing right now is playing. But obviously, as like for team wise, as of course you want to win, you want to get as far as you can, and the goal is to win the championship in Bulgaria for sure, and for sure compete in the Final Four in the Baba League. So uh, yeah, so we'll see where it takes us, but the goal is to just have fun. Honestly, that's what we need in life. Keep it light,
Okay.
keep it easy.
Okay, thanks. That's a nice way. Yeah, yeah, that's a nice way of ending our talk. So thank you, Rachel, for finding the time, and I hope you have a great season in Bulgaria. The
All right.
rest of the season, right?
Yes.
Obviously.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.